Welcome back. What is the secret of a good design? Have you ever asked that question before? What exactly make a design awesome? Now, what exactly can you do to make some of your graphical design outstanding and very, illustrative? Now, if you look at the video that you're seeing now, it's a graphical illustration with font that is being merged with a face now to get a statement. Now, how did this artist come about this concept? What exactly was he thinking that made him come up with this concept? All these and more are the things we're going to discuss in the course of the study. So if you're ready like I'm ready, I want you to get your water bottle, get whatever you need, sit down, and let's discuss on how and to know the secret of what makes a graphics design good. All right. So therefore today we'll be talking about graphics design part 1. Graphics design part 1. Now, if you look on the screen, you will see the way they play with the font, with the word graphics. The graphic art you can see on the screen. Amazing work. Now, somebody thought of it, conceptualized it, and created that stuff. So it is because of he understands some of the principles we are going to share during the course of the study, how to manipulate colors and how to work with fonts, how to break them, how to manage some of his tools. All these we are going to discuss in the course of the study. Now, what's our objective for today? Now, first of all, we'll be looking at the definition of the word graphics design. That's the first thing we will know. Second, we'll look at the package design. Now we'll look at the importance of graphics design. What are the things that makes up a graphic design? So we are going to look at all that. Then we'll look at the functions of what package design, and then we'll talk about what the trade or label design. How to make your trade what labels. Okay, so without any further ado, now let's get started. First, what is graphics design? So what do you think is graphics design? Do you have an idea? All right, now let me give you the definition of graphics design. Now, these are designs made for advertisements with skillful representation of letters, audio, and visual, or any other means for information and communication. I will take it slowly so that you get exactly what I'm saying. I say graphics design can be defined as a design made for advertisement with the skillful use of representation of what image, or with the skillful representation of images, letters, audio, and visual, or any other means for information and what communication. Now, what am I saying in essence is, if you want to communicate, you want to tell somebody something in graphics, now your ability to make use of your skillfulness in making use of fonts, as in letters, pictures, as in images, audio, your word, my voice, how to convert my voice into an art, and then visual, by the time you bring all these things together, you've built up what the statement, what the graphics design. And meanwhile, get this at the back of your mind. Another name for graphic design is known as commercial art, because it is for businesses. Every graphics design is for making money. You see, you make graphics, to communicate an idea, to pass an information, to send an information, to enlighten people on something, to educate the masses. All these fall under the terrain of graphics design. So your ability to manipulate fonts, images, letters, audio, and any other artistic tools to communicate or to pass information explains graphics design. Okay, now I still bring back the same picture that I showed you previously. Now this is to portray exactly what the idea of graphics means. Now you see your ability to force people to reason. If you watch, you see the H is distorted, including the C, the G, and you see the way he plays with the fonts and then break them with different images, colors, and strokes, with forms and shape to create the amazing image you're seeing in front of your screen. Now, the aesthetics of functional satisfaction from graphic art production depends largely upon the approach adopted by the artist in executing that particular idea. Now, what am I trying to explain here? For example, if I'm given a contract or a project to design a flyer, there are different approaches that I can use. I might choose to use different tools I can still choose to use to work on it. Now, first, I might choose to work with CorelDRAW, which is one good tool for graphics design, Adobe Photoshop, which is one go-to. Now we even have what we call the AI. The AI is there now to even take the work to another level. So all these, they fall into what? Graphics, illustration, and graphics. Now, it depends on what the artist, what he has in mind, what he wants to create, the information he's trying to pass out. So the artistic and functional satisfaction from the graphics art production depends largely upon the approach adopted in its what? Execution. So how do I make my work outstanding? Should I do it manually? Should I do it manually? For most of you, might be too young. You might not understand what I'm trying to explain now. Now, while I was growing up, there's what we call the banner. So for churches, now what we have is flex banners. Then, before now, we take our stencil, we cut stencil, do the write-up, dab it, and that's what they use. Thank God for digitalization, which is another what approach that is being adopted by most people now. Now, it's easier, it's faster, it is even more artistic, it communicates, it drags or calls more attention to people and then pass the information just the way that particular individual wants it to be. Now, look at the image in front of you. Now, these are two different ways you can actually design that lady. Now, it could be a normal portrait of a woman, and then maybe in an idea, she said, okay, I want you to make me to be, in a kind of fantasy mood. I never know what the artist was thinking. Now, thank God for the AI. Now, the AI can help you achieve these things. Now, in most AI technology, you type in what you want in your imagination. Then the AI will kind of conceptualize your ideas for you and then bring out things. But however, you cannot replace the AI with the human thought. The AI can only do based on what the information, the command given to it. But you're the one that owns what you want to do. You are the one that knows what you want to do. The AI can't do that for you. However, the AI can actually enhance the work, after your production. So now, that about, graphics. Like I'm trying to explain, it is one of the approaches and one of the tools at which you can actually deliver some of the work. Now, one of the major objectives of this art is what? Communication. One of the most important objectives of graphics art is for what? Communication. To the public through visual concept. It is an act of what? Communicating to the public through visual concept. So whenever you ask, what is the major importance of graphics design? Boom. The answer is what? For communication through what? Visual concept or idea. Now, if you look at the design you can see on the screen, is the 12 graphics secret. Now, for example, if I have, let me say I want to sell a book on graphics design, and then I want to make it very captivating. Now, what will come to mind? What will I use to design the cover page of that book that will call people's attention, that want to make people buy my book? That is how an artist or a graphic artist will want to think. What will make it outstanding? Now, if you watch, you see a kind of that's what is it called again? That's a kind of a vault where they keep precious stones, gold, money. For those of us that are aspiring to work in the bank, there's what we call the vault. That's where you load their money and then they keep it, for safety purposes. Now, it is only one person that has the key or the number code to that vault. Now, it simply means it is a secret for the bankers. It is not everybody that can go there. It is just one person. Now, and it is only that person that knows how much and how the things in that vault is. So that is exactly now trying to sell the idea, the 12 graphics design secret. It is a secret. I'm the only one that has this key. So now I need to bring, a graphical picture that will sell that idea to the public. So by the time you see this graphical work, you are hungry, you're desperate. You want to know what the writer or the publisher had in mind, of creating that, of creating that book or whatsoever. So that is how an artist thinks. That is one way you can, start building your mindset to become what? A good artist. All right, so now let's continue. Now, there are different ways of making designs, but one basic approach entails, as in covers all. Apart from that, before you start making any graphics, first of all, there's what we call the thumbnail sketches. I will call it the conceptualization. First, you start thinking, okay, the 12 secrets of a graphics design. So how do I make the book? Now, by the time you're thinking, we call that conceptualization. So you start conceptualizing. After conceptualizing, you start making your thumbnail sketches. Now, what do I mean by thumbnail sketches? Now, these are what you've seen in your mind eyes. You start bringing them down on a white paper, on a plain paper. You start drawing it. That is thumbnailing. Then you, as a matter of fact, you make a lot of rough sketches before you do the finished layout, and then the comprehensive layout before you start doing all the working layout. Now, all these can be done on a paper. Now, this is before the invention of what? Technology. Now, technology has, we are gradually moving out of the paper world. We are now working in our system. So we build direct. So in every graphics work you do with, first of all, there is a conceptualization, there is a thumbnail. It could be something you've seen from somewhere that you're borrowing from. That is thumbnailing, rough thumbnail. You're picking, you pick here, you pick here, you pick here, you pick here, and then you bring all of them together to create your what? Your finished work layout. Now, all this layout development will result into a final design. So, for example, the previous image I showed you, you see, we get the picture of the vault, I have actually forgotten the name of this thing. There's a name I'm trying to remember, but maybe when I remember it, I'll bring it back to you. So you get the picture of that stuff. Now you look for beautiful fonts you use that will sell it. You understand? And then if you watch, this is a super simple but powerful graphics, just with two colors, black and red, with a white on the background. That's all. So that is exactly what a good graphics it's all about. Now let's talk about layout. Now, what exactly is layout? I just explained what layout is. Now, I first of all told you it is, drawing things, but now let me give you the full definition of layout. Now, layout is the arrangement of elements of design on a given surface. By the time you start arranging your elements of design, meanwhile, what are the elements of design? The elements of design are those physical tangibles you see on the finished work of art. For example, there are 7 elements of design. The first one is line, form, shape, texture, color, tone, and then space. So these are the 7 elements of what? Of design. Now, by the time you bring this element of design and then start working with them, you're forming your what? Your layout. So layout is simply the arrangement of elements of design on a given surface. Are you with me? All right, so now let's dive in. I am super excited. I don't know if you're really feeling the vibes. Okay, yes, I know you can. All right, now let's continue. Now, this is a thumbnail of what I just did to explain exactly what layout is all about. And there is a video we'll see before the end of this class to really explain what I'm trying to say. Now, the layout, if you watch the first, these are different layouts to make what? One particular design. You see, you draw this one, I'm not comfortable with it. You draw the second one, I'm not comfortable with it. You see, you get to your final layout, which you now use as your what? Your final output. So that is exactly what layout explained. However, the following steps could be followed in carrying out some exercise. Now, with the following step I talked about, the first 6 steps, your rough sketch, your thumbnail, your conceptualizing, all those steps I mentioned initially before. Now, if you follow them, you can use them to carry out what? A particular exercise, even in your class or even at home. Now, how do you carry out this exercise? We are going to look at some of them. Now, first of all, you have to choose a theme, either given to you by your teacher or by anybody. That's the first way, to start. You choose a theme. Now, what do I mean by choosing a theme? You choose a topic. For you to design anything, first of all, there must be something you have in mind. What do you want to talk about? Fine, I want to talk about female mutilation. Then what comes to mind? Then you choose the concept, you start conceptualizing, and then you choose the letter that will be suitable for the design. All this falls under what? Conceptualization. Thank God for computer today. You can actually pick this font. If you don't like it, you change another font. If you don't like it, until you get a font. But before now, you take your time, you plan your font, because we even create our fonts ourselves, before now. All right. So the next thing is you prepare your layout very well, because the success of a finished job depends largely on them. Layouts sometimes involve pictorial drawings and lettering construction, or only one of the two. Now, depending on the type of what design or purpose you're trying to create. Now, I hope you understood that. Now, by the time you pick your layout, you start bringing in all the things you've actually thought of. Now, exactly what you're seeing there, you see different layouts. Bring out this line, you draw. This one will still like this one will still like. If you want to design a newspaper, the image will come in here, this one will come in here, pictures will come in here, this will overlap this one. That is exactly how you do the layout before you start creating the finished work. Now, color is important in commercial art. Choose attractive and pleasant colors that will help to sell the information to the public. You don't choose careless color. You learn to make use of colors. So there's no way you can say you want to be a graphic designer and to make good graphics if your color representations are bad. Remember, before we start this class, we're looking at what is the secret of a good graphics design. That is exactly what we're talking about, and that's what we're trying to hit to the nail and then bring these things out so that you understand. Even that will help you, design anything you want to design. You understand? Okay, now you get your color scheme and then mix your color rightly. There are ways you mix color. We've talked about color, in previous video. I will advise you go back and check it. Check that video. That will help you understand exactly how to create this color. We have different types of color. We have the primary color, we have the textural color, we have the complementary color, we have the tried, we have the harmonious color, we have the natural color, we have the neutral colors, we have different kind of colors, we have the complementary colors, the intermediate colors. So how do I make do with all this? What are these colors? How do you combine them? You go learn those things, and then it helps you to create a good graphics. Now you carry out some color matching exercise even on your own layout. You can do all that in a layout before you take it to the final work. You can actually seek your teacher's opinion, at every stage to avoid costly mistakes. Because when you're doing graphics work, you just need to be very careful. That is why most times we encourage you do your thumbnail first before you go into your final production. Okay, now you mount your drawing sheets on a drawing board using pin or paper tape. This will help you fixate the work properly on your drawing board. Now it will help to ensure proper stretch of the paper in readiness for the actual design. Okay, now the next thing is you map out your design on a sheet following your layout with pencil. You start drawing based on your layout. You start drawing, measuring the space available for your letters, divide them into different blocks, just like the pictures I showed you with good letters. All these is supposed to be constructed. Even when you're using calligraphic writing, endeavor to draw your diagram or your guidelines properly, because if you don't do all this, you will end up producing a bad work or a shabby work. Graphic designs need absolute sharpness, absolute carefulness. You need to pre-plan. You don't just dive into it, because now you're trying to communicate with people. Little wonder no graphics is widely accepted, but there is a graphic design that cut across. If you're a good graphic designer, you can do something that cut across every age, every people, every country. In as much as, yes, there are people that are not comfortable with some colors. Nobody will like my choice of color. So don't expect everybody to like your graphics work. But however, there is a classic design, that can stand the test of time. Nobody will tell me they are not comfortable or familiar with black and white. Those colors are very friendly. We have the gray colors. They are more friendly and more relaxed as against using bright yellow, green. In as much as there are some persons that love, to start hipping these colors just the way they are. It depends on the information you want to pass. All right. So now let's continue. Now you transfer your pictorial illustration to its position. You are free to do this before letter construction if you so desire. Now such transfer could be from tracing paper or any other form or method. So have that at the back of your mind. Now all color mixing should be done on the designer's palette. Now there's what we call the palette. We've talked about art materials. That was when I defined and explained exactly what a palette is. If you have not still seen the video, still go and see that video on art materials. That will help you, to bring all these things together. Now, let's say the topic art, they are together. You cannot talk about this one without talking about this one. They are chained. It's like a family. You cannot talk about the father without mentioning the mother and then the children. If you remove the father, the family is not complete. They call it a single mother. It's not complete. You can't call that a full family. But that's, by the way, in our world now, they still call it a full family anyway. But however, based on what we're saying, you don't just remove this from this. They are together. It's a bond. It's like a tree. You cannot say the roots is not among the tree, or some of the branches are not among the tree, maybe because of their cutting off. All right. So it's one body. They function together. All right. So let's continue. Now, neatness is important in your work. You have a small towel, tissue paper to clean your hands whenever you're working. That is when you're doing these practicals in class. Now you can now treat the background after covering the major designs or image with paper tapes, to avoid smudging your work. Ensure that your design is properly dry before removing the tapes. So all these are the things you consider while doing or designing any graphic work. Now, commercial design embraces a wide range of activities. Your voice, how you sell yourself. You understand how you carry yourself. You have a product. So you cannot do anything without graphics. Graphics covers everything. That's why it's called what? Commercial art. Like I told us, as much as you try to do some of those things, commercial art or graphics design covers for package design, for trade label, for book cover, for book jackets, for posters, for banner, handbills, for branding, to mention. But if anything you can think of, is under or is embedded with the graphics design. So it cannot be overemphasized. It cannot be overemphasized. As a matter of fact, today the world is growing into a digital age. When you hear the word digital, we're talking about graphics. You understand? Talking about what? Graphics. Now, during the course of this study, we're going to talk about package design, trade label, book cover, book jacket, poster. We will discuss as many as we can discuss, in the course of what? This study. All right, I want us to see this video of how to conceptualize an idea. Now, if you watch, the first picture you're seeing here is what the thumbnail is the layout. Now, we did the layout, and then you see, like, we're trying to create a logo. So let me show you exactly what I'm trying to talk about. Now, this is the layout, and then you start conceptualizing, you start drawing. Okay, I'm trying to make a logo of so and so. This. I want to place this like this. I want to place this like this. You see the line, the guiding rails. You see the lines. How you started, applying shading, colors, and then left this other place white. And at the end of the day, you take it to your system, and then you design to come up with this outstanding logo. That's exactly how these things are formed. I want you to see it again so you know exactly what I'm talking about. First, you make your layout. After making your layout, you start drawing, you start conceptualizing. So because, like I told you initially, you cannot create anything without not seeing it first. You must first see what you want to make before you make it. If you've not seen it in your mind's eyes, at the end of the day, you might end up creating what does not really stand the test of time. But after you've seen it and then you start creating, so by the time you go into your system, you create something outstanding. All right, some of these videos you're seeing here, they are not for any other purpose but just strictly for educational purposes. So that is the essence of bringing them in, so you understand fully what the graphics design is all about. So I promise us we'll talk about some of these different packages, like for example the package design. What exactly is package design? Now, they are designed done on wraps that project or protect some products. They are designed done on wraps that protect and as well project a product. Now, they do carry caption that are meant to advertise such products. For example, if I want to advertise a mouse, I need a package, a cloth to cover the mouse that will tell people this is what I have inside this carton is so and so, the address, how to contact me that produces it, and all mentioned it on the package. So that's exactly what package design is all about. Now, package design are made on immediate wrapper, as well as the large carton. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, if you're buying a laptop, now some of this laptop bears the name on the laptop. For example, you've heard of the Apple laptop, the HP, the Dell, the Samsung, to mention but a few. Now, on the laptop, you have the name. There's a graphics on it. Apart from that, there is a wrap that covers the laptop even before the outside carton. So in case now the carton, it serves two purposes. The package serves two purposes. One, it serves to protect it. Two, it projects, like it serves as an advert, for that particular product. That is what, package design is all about. Now look at the different products you're seeing here. Now the first one, I guess that's an acrylic. You see different products and different packages. Now graphics create rooms for variety. It creates rooms for what? For variety. Now the first one is product label. You can see the name of the company, and you see how it's been labeled. You see, then the second one is the packaging. Now after creating this product, you cannot just bring a beautiful baby from the mother and then you're taking it to the dad with the baby naked like that, fresh. No, that's not nice. You need the clothes, you need the baby wrap, you need to wrap the baby so the baby looks good. And then sometimes they even powder the baby, to make the baby look good and interesting. So that is exactly what the packaging or package design is for and is all about. Meanwhile, designs are in different levels, depend on what you want. Now, little wonder you see a normal regular bottled water, which is the normal pure water. It's still the same water. Now, you buy the pure water for 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, as the case may be. But now that same water, you transfer it into, an Ever water bottle or any other water bottle, the price is increased. So automatically, packaging influences price. So you see, now these are other things that would impact on graphics and what package design. Now, such design must be well executed, because the more attractive they are, the better for what? The better the product is what? In the competitive market. Now, if your graphics is poor, man, nobody will buy it. If your graphics is not clean, if the designs are going up and down, A is flying, B is jumping, they're not together, nobody will buy it. So little wonder you see these people, they pay heavily for graphics designers, to design their products, so that by the time they come in, they step into the market, man, they are calling attention. Little wonder if you go into a supermarket, you get confused. Which one will I take? Oh my goodness, because you're seeing different colors, different designs, and then by the time you pick those designs and then you look at the packaging again, if you're not comfortable with packaging, you go for the ones that have more solid packaging, even if the product of this other one is even better than the very one that has the best packaging. But so far as the packaging is bad, you want to pay anything for this very one that is well packaged. So package plays a whole role in graphics design. Now look at the image you're seeing there is a well-packaged chocolate. You see how interesting it looks. But what is inside is just chocolate. But because of the way it's being packaged, the positioning of the photographer, how he, the graphic design, how he took the pictures and then composed everything together, makes this yummy. Everybody wants to get a bite out of it. All right. So the same thing with these other graphics you're seeing here. And that will be how far we will go for today. Thank you very much for sitting around. But before we go, let's look at the summary of everything we've just talked about. First, we talked about the definition of the word graphics. We talked about the importance of graphics. We talked about how to compose graphics. Now, we also looked at the package design. Then we look at the functions of a package design, which I told you the impact of what it does. First, to protect. Second, to project. To protect and to project. That's one of the functions of what package design. And then we looked at what the trade label. Now, in subsequent classes, we are going to develop more on the trade label to discuss how impactful the trade label is to a product. Now, thank you very much for sitting on with us. So now let's take some Q&A. Let's see some questions and then, try our hands on them. First, what is the definition of the word graphics design? What is the definition of the word graphics design? Now, number 2 question I want you to try your hands on is I want you to explain what you understand by the word package design. Explain it in details. Now, if you can answer those 2 questions, you're getting yourself sharp for any exam that comes your way. Okay, so now let's go over to the exam guide and then we try our hands on some questions. And I guess you're very familiar with the exam guide by now. So you choose your topic. We talked about graphics design. So you check graphics design is already checked and then click OK and then get started. All right. So let's try our hands on this question. Now, the use of an enlarged or enlarger is required by dash. The use of an enlarger is required by dash. Now, this will cover this in art material, so I would not want to bring it now for those of you that have not actually, studied that. But I would want you to go check, the video on art material. All right. Now, poster design can be defined as dash. Poster design can be defined as dash. A, the arrangement of lines. B, the visual decoration. C, instructional material, pictorial pattern, or visual communication. I told you it's for visual communication. So the answer is E, visual communication. All right, let's try another question. All right, which of the following is not a source of inspiration for design? Awesome. Now, which of the following is not an inspiration for design? Is it environment, flower, nature, tree, or wind? Which of the following is not an inspiration for design? As a matter of fact, because I can't see wind, but I can actually see the effect of wind. That is why I would say wind is not a source of what? Design. It is not a source of inspiration. Now, you can only get inspiration on the effect of wind, not by the wind itself, because you don't see it. So you can only get inspiration with things you can actually see. Most times, Your environment, you get inspiration from your environment, you get inspiration from flowers, you get inspiration from nature, you get inspiration from trees. But for wind, let's just choose wind. In as much as, yes, advanced, you can actually get inspiration from wind. Yes, because of the effect it has on your skin, on things you can actually see. All right, so the answer there is. So let's take the final question for today's class and then we call it a day. Okay. All right, the artist who designed poster and book jackets is called dash. The artist who designed poster or book jacket is called, this is a simple question. Even somebody in primary one will just give you the answer to this question. Is he a cartoonist? Is he a ceramics? Is he a photographer or a sculptor? Or finally, is he a graphics designer? Automatically, he is a graphics designer. Thank you for participating in today's class. You can practice more questions using the exam guide. Now, the app scores and give a detailed explanation of all the questions at the end of your practice test. Now, you can learn a particular topic of interest with different modes like study mode, mock mode, and practice mode. It also have other features that make learning fun. Now, it is a must-have for all serious students. Download the app from www.examguide.com if you don't have it yet. See you in the next class. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and then share this video to anyone you know that would benefit from it. Thank you and bye-bye.